All right, guys,
Oof.
listen. We
This
gotta
this
have a
this might be the hot piece of the episode.
listen. We gotta have a conversation. The Arc Raider community is split and it's getting heated. Some players are asking for player versus environment only modes, while others say player versus player is the entire identity of the fucking game. In the middle, players saying that the experience just isn't fun anymore. So is player versus player actually ruining Arc Raiders, or is the game exposing a deeper problem with balance, exploits, and progression? Because when players start asking for player versus environment only in a player versus environment game, that's not just a preference, that's a warning sign.
Are you not entertained?
Because on paper, Arc Raiders is doing exactly what it promised: high risk player versus environment extraction experience. But in practice, that risk isn't being shared evenly. For a lot of players, player versus player isn't tense or exciting, it's frustrating. New or casual players load in, get wiped by geared squads, lose everything, and feel like they never had a chance to learn the game. That's where the call for player versus environment only modes is coming from. On the other side, player versus players argue that extraction tense is the game. Remove player versus player elements and you remove the fear, the stakes, and the identity. Without that danger, Arc Raiders just becomes another co-op shooter. But here's the real issue. This debate isn't really about PvE versus PvP. It's about balance. It's about progression gaps, exploit abuse, matchmaking, and whether the game does enough to protect new players while still rewarding high skill play. When versus P feels unfair instead of risky, players don't adapt, they disengage. So this question isn't should Arc Raiders go P versus E only. It's rather the current player versus environment design is giving all players a reason to stay. And that's going to be the biggest test that Arc Raiders faces. And if that answer is no, something is going to have to change. I want to say in contents to a previous episode, my cousin did make the point, hey, this game is selling good now in month 1, but will this game still be around a year from now? And that is a great question and a very prevalent question, especially with this topic. So I just wanted to point that out first, because yeah, with this kind of, I'm not even saying it's an even split, but even a large enough community of players are complaining about this is a issue. And the way that the creators of Arc Raiders handle this could dictate if this game will still be relevant in a year from now. You know, we got a long 12 months ahead of us, and anything could really tip the balance of, is this game gonna still have a high current player rate. I've played a lot recently. We had our first
Yes,
playthrough
we
of us
have.
going topside. Upload, if you didn't know, I'll link the video here. There'll be a card or something, whatever, you can go watch it. And honestly, the issue with this is I think the PvP people are exactly right. It's still this game is an extraction, and you need elements that put fear in how you move and get loot and extract. Now, some people might say, hey, I've had more deaths from arcs machines than I did other players. And I can honestly say, to me, out of all the times I've played, I've probably died because of arcs more than players. That is true. And another thing too, when I watched a few videos, and I even asked ChatGPT this and Googled it, there is something in the background, supposedly. I don't know if this to be true. This is, all speculative. None of this is, I don't know if this has been quoted by the game makers, but there's something in the background that if you don't fire at other raiders it's supposed to match make you going forward with similar like players. Now, you can say to that, hey, 1 minute in 5 sessions, you could not fire at a raider, and because you don't feel like doing the game that way. And then all of a sudden you fire at a raider, and you change. You don't know how you're going to be every time you go topside, and that's a fact, and that's honestly true. I just don't know how they will accommodate the people asking for player versus environment only mode. Maybe that'll bring down the loot value you can get in that mode. Maybe, I mean, there's gonna be a trade-off. You're not gonna get probably as good as loot if you do a player versus environment only mode. Honestly, that's the only probably trade-off I can see them doing. Or maybe the art present intensifies and you have higher rated arcs. So pretty much and then you gotta ask, well, is that gonna fuck up your experience more than the player? You don't know. Listen, everything comes at a cost in an extraction game. So I think, and I have had multiple experiences of, hey, I've come across a squad. Hey, don't shoot. You're friendly. Hey, I'm just here to chill. Cool. We move on. We separate. Sometimes we get in positions where we're both squads are being attacked by arcs, and we literally are all just trying to survive so we can extract. I have had moments where I'm in an extraction point and somebody try to shoot me while I'm trying to extract. I've had points where I've come across a squad. I do matchmaking a lot, and they was like, "Oh, we're friendly." Just for us to go around the building, and we got stuck on the rooftop.
And got
Obviously,
janked.
they followed us and just to kill us in the end. So I've had it. I've had multiple experiences. I know the frustration, how you feel about like, bruh, like what? And then I've also been, like I said, I do a lot of matchmaking, and I've come into a session with people I don't know, and we come across raiders and they just start shooting. And I'm like, nah, that's not what time I'm on. And I book it. Like, I'm not here to fight players. I'm just here to get loot, maybe shoot a few arcs and go about my way. I don't wanna shoot and go get into a firefight because I'm at a disadvantage. I'm newer. I'm probably on a free loadout. No, X, Y, and Z. So yeah, I'm probably more I probably would like to play in sessions where it's to environment, setups, but I understand that you still need PvP because you need to anticipate the risk. You need, like, hey, I be on some of these on these sessions, and my heart is pumping. I am stressed trying to get extracted and trying not to get killed at extraction, and getting pissed off because a player fucked me over, saying they friendly, they not really friendly. Maybe they can implement something if you say don't shoot, or if the game registers that you're saying you're friendly and then you turn around and shoot a raider, maybe they can penalize you or something, or maybe they can put something on your character to show that you be shooting raiders. I don't know. They can do anything, but I don't see how they're gonna remove player versus player elements from the extraction game. I don't know how they would do it, but if they do, I'll be interested. I will play it. I don't know if it'll be my primary play environment, just because I feel like if they do that, the loot value is gonna come down. It's not gonna be as rewarding. But I can understand, especially as a new player, I didn't even know how to play for the longest. I was getting yanked. I was getting my shit pushed in by other players, and I was
Oh,
just like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, I'm just trying to get my handles, get my bearings with the game, so I can get the frustration for newer players. It's kind of like, baby, you learn the hard way. You stumble. That's part of learning. You take your L's, but you know what? You learn your lessons. You get your skill tree up. You run faster for longer. You make less noise. Like, that is part of the experience of arc raiders, and I can confidently say, hey, that's part of the game, bro. I have gotten a lot better in this last day and a half than I was 4 days ago. I am playing with a lot more confidence because
she ain't lying.
my skills are a lot more improved. I got some skill tree perks unlocked. And hey, I have come into sessions a lot. Most of my sessions, I'm just taking the lead from whoever else who, hey, he's pinning something out. Let's go here. Hey, okay. Blah blah blah. I'm helping them with everything they gotta do. Sometimes I get my quest done in the meantime. I don't even be prioritizing that. Like, I'm just trying to get my bearings. But now, like in the last day, hey, I'll load in, nobody's moving. I'm like, all right, let me ping some on the map. Hey, I've gotten people in and out of sessions alive, didn't lose any teammates. games and shit, and then that makes you feel even more confident. It's like, oh, I kind of know what I'm doing. I have winning game sessions where we're all like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing either. And we get our shit pushed in. But you know what? Hey,
Oh,
you know what? Hey, I learned a valuable lesson. Don't follow just any motherfucking body just because you matchmake with them. That's just part of the game. That's part of the experience. And I will say Arc Raiders does get addictive. Like you get addicted to improving your skills, improving your survivability, not losing loot. I mean, losing loot. Actually, I stopped caring about it less and less because why? I'm on free loadouts most of the time. I have very low risk. Now, if I get a group of people who I can depend on, maybe we will play more and more sessions like how the intro stated. You have geared out squads. Hey, you get two other people, y'all play regularly. Yeah. Hey, you probably ain't got you got minimum fear factor because why? You got other people high skilled playing with you. If you get down, they'll pick you up. And two, you might have a bunch of blueprints. So even if you lose good shit, you can recraft it. So there's so many elements and so many things where I don't think they're going to remove PvP, honestly. I think at its core, it is a very important factor in why Arc Raiders is so fun and why it is kind of refreshing. Even though in that same breath, I understand new players' gripes, but baby, that's just the name of the game. That's the price of playing Arc Raiders. And you get better while you go through those trials and tribulations and losing on loot. You can load a million times and get more and more loot, baby. You have that opportunity each time you go topside. You have the opportunity to come back with good shit. The way you get to that good shit and get back home to base, that's all depending on how you play the game. So play the game better. Learn your lessons, man. I'm very addicted to the game right now. We stayed up to like 2 in the morning last night playing it, and I think Arc Raiders formula is fine. Maybe they can adjust to some things. I know they are nerfing and boosting certain things in the game. But I say that all that to say, listen, baby, just take your L's, and not one day, but soon they will start turning into wins. She'll start stacking wins. She'll start stacking confidence just like I did. And listen, hey, them skill points, hey, spend them motherfuckers because they do make a difference, baby. Let me just tell you right now, I maxed out my lungs and my stamina. That changed the game for me because as soon as some shit pop off with arcs or players, bitch, I'm booking it. Running is a very underrated thing to do in the game. Some people feel like you have to stay in combat. No, motherfucker, run to a hatch that's not in a
right.
no, run to a hatch that's not in a high loot value area. Listen, go to the outskirts of the map. I'm just saying there's multiple ways for new players to get acclimated while, still feeling like they're being rewarded. So, baby, just take your L's and they'll turn into wins. It's okay. Listen, everybody starts off taking L's in Arc Raiders. It happens to all of us, but you know what? You just stick with it. Stick with it. But that's my point.
Arc Raider players are loudly requesting PvE only mode due to core issues that PvP attracts grifters, trolls, cheaters, and casual players are feeling. What players want is just a cooperative PvE extraction. Progression without being framed or farmed by sweat squads. Space to enjoy mechanics and world building. The industry trend has the same problem seen as Tarkov likes hardcore extraction shooters. Studios underestimate how much their audience wants tension, but not harassment. Ignoring PvE requests risk player churn, toxic reputation, and niche collapse. Adding PvE could double the audience, extend lifespan dramatically. That goes what I was talking about earlier. It's hot now because it's the new kid on the block, but how long do they sustain hot ability? Because when you go around and your audience is requesting something and you're just like, you guys don't know what you want. We got some bag. Hey, we reported it earlier. Numbers are going down. Players are quick to turn their back on something that is not servicing them. Hence, a live service. But the big takeaway is players are tired of being treated like data points. Anti-consumer systems, always online fragility. Success is shifting towards trust, respect for the player's time. I can say this wholeheartedly. My cousin ain't lying. This is her new addiction, and we were playing. And the one time I did find something playing great, and these dudes snuck up and like she said, pushed our shit in, got touched, however you want to frame it. That did piss me off. It's like, motherfucker. She brushed it off like, hey, free loadout, let's go back. And I'm like, yo, these companies listening needs to take a different toll. The ones doubling down on the old plan are struggling. The ones that listen are thriving. And I understand they made this game a certain type of way for a certain type of player and etc. But they are blooming into a different bracket of success. And there are people who just want to fuck with others, grift, play the game as it's meant to play, the sweaters, whatever you want to call them. And that's all fun and dandy, but as we've also reported in this show, the hardcore are a small number compared to the casual. Sometimes the hardcore influence the casuals and vice versa. The weekend dads who just want to get in, play a hot minute, have some fun, I don't want to deal with this shit. Some of them walk in and be like, hey, friendly, and you get shot in the back and whatnot. Some of them don't. They don't know how to handle that type of environment. They don't play the Call of Duties, Fortnites, whatever you want to call it. So I get it. And as a player whose time is very limited, what is wrong to just separate the tiers? Call of Duty does this. They have normal matchmaking, and then they have the hardcore. For the people who don't want a map, 2-3 bullets puts you down, a real more honed in experience. Now, granted, yes, Call of Duty is not what it used to be, but you have the hardcore and the casual alike buy the same product, and it has something. And I can understand someone in the comments saying, well, a game that tries to appeal to everyone is appealing no one. And that's not necessarily true. This game has hooked success. What they see and what it offers. They just want something a little more. As my cousin stated, we played for hours. We ran into several groups. Just like, hey, don't shoot. We all hear something in the background like, hey, stick with us. We're gonna go over here. We knock some arcs out. We pick some loot. We got shot up a couple times, and then we all extracted. And it's nice. It's memorable. I've even seen certain YouTubers and other players saying like, hey, the premise of this game is to work together against these arcs, a la Skynet. That's extincting us. That's the narrative they want to paint and push, and you are more successful in numbers together. But at the same time, hey, if you want to ice somebody and take his gun, they give you that option. Being as someone who has put less time into my cousin, I feel I don't have hours and nuance to say, hey, they're right, but I can understand people are asking for a PvE only. You have people who are just not about the co-op lifestyle. I'm sorry, the lifestyle. They're more co-op, enjoy here, play, make a memory, and move on, rather than the sweat hards and thanking people and shooting them in the back and taking their stuff into grifting. I get that. I understand both arguments, but I don't see where would the hurt be, because this is a live service game. This lives on the predication of keeping an audience and keeping that audience satiated, giving them what they ask for within the bounds and scopes of the ideal and the ideology of the game. But, I'm welcome to it. Get some good loot, and then only thing I got to worry about a bigger, shittier arc like that spider butt thing that separated me and my cousin last night. That thing was scary. It showed up. I'm like, yo, what is that? I looked straight out of Terminator, not knowing that when the shit was going down, my cousin got shot in the back. She wouldn't separate. That there was someone who literally tried to gank us at the extraction, and she got separated. And I was like, oh,
I still made it
that's
out.
all I got.
I still made it to base,
Oh yeah,
FYI.
granted, she did still make it out. She did make it out.
I got
She
in the
ran to
single
Plan B.
hatcher.
She ran this abandoned hatch with a pack of Marlboro lights. She lit up, found the key, and she got out. And I was shocked. I was like, "Yo, if you don't get out, like, what is there a time buff on when this thing closes up, extracts? Can you just hit it again and it reopens, or you just gotta go somewhere else? Like, yo, this extraction thing is closed now to us,
Yeah,
So
I've never been still in the game while the timer went out. I think I don't get under 8 minutes. When the timer gets to 8 minutes or even 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, it's a wrap. I'm out. Yeah. So, but my element, or I guess the point I was saying, I don't know how they are going to do that. Is like I said, that is part of the fear factor. That is part of the rush. That what gets the blood going and the people going is the fact that you could get killed by anything, or arc or players, and you really got to kind of look at every player side eye that is not part of your squad, especially solo people. That is the name name of the game. And so I think that taking out that fear factor is gonna and two, and this is my ending point. Just because player asks for it, don't mean that's what's best for them or the game. So
Oh,
players can ask for
oh,
certain shit, but that's not what's best for them, and that's not what's best for the game,
whoa.
and that's not the point of the game. This game is an distraction. You need fear in an distraction game outside of just
But when
you know
but when
you
you say the
know
arcs are that fear,
but that's what I'm saying. If you take the player fear out of it, that's going to increase they're probably going to have to increase the arc present. And like I stated at the beginning of the video, I get killed more by arcs than I do
um,
players. So I don't want more arcs presence, at least not in the map. I've only been in one map. Well, no, I've been in two because I met somebody that was playing on PC that really knew his shit and he was carrying me. And we went to some desert map. But the downright, whatever that first one you get into, the game brings you to, that's the main one I've been playing. And I feel like I'll probably stay there until I can get some friends that really play this often who they go into game with their shit because they got blueprints, they got higher tier guns. And that's what I'm saying. Building confidence is kind of the name of this game because you get with players that know what they're doing, it gives you confidence to do more and fight bigger enemies. And if you got 3 people fighting against one of those spider fucking arcs, you probably ain't running off. You probably fighting that motherfucker because you need the loot from that monster or that arc, not monster, that arc. So I just feel like that's the name of the game. That is the whole premise of Arc Raiders. So, but time can tell. They could fold. They could, fold like a cheap seat at the cookout and give play what these players are asking for. But I just feel like the loot is going to be less good and the arc presence is going to be high. So I don't know if I'll even play. I mean, I'm sure I'll try it out, but I don't. Like I said, I be steering clear of arcs. I don't know, but then the farming, there is some cheating element in Arc Raiders. You always got those bad apples, but the few can't dictate the choices of the many. So overall experience, Arc Raiders is a good game. If you haven't played, play it. It's $40. It's a good experience. You get with some people that know what they doing. It can really change your experience. And hey, if you know what you're doing in Arc Raiders and you want to help me out, hey, put your shit down in the comments because we can definitely run a session. I need some dependable people I can play with on the regular that could help me fight some of these bigger arcs and stuff like that. But the community overall, like I said, most of the time when we say friendly and they friendly, 8 out of 10 times it's okay. It ends well. We all are just trying to make it out. And so I just feel like this is a good game. It's okay. I feel like Art Raiders will do whatever they need to do, but they're still balancing some things out. And this is just the beginning. Hey, the game has only been out October 30th, 31st. The date of this recording is December 20th. So, hey, give them time to adjust, balance some things out. And hopefully they don't piss off too many people while doing that. But
and that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?